All right, so today I'm going to show how to do polar alignment and also how to use plate solving using APT. So I already have connected the mount here using OL control. I already have Sharpcap open as well. I already changed the settings as well here for the camera. So let's get started. So let's go to Sharpcap, Tools, Polar Align. So let's wait for Sharpcap to solve the image. So this is what you want to see, that it stays in solve here at the bottom. Then you click on next, go to over control. Let's rotate the mount. I usually do 90 degrees. So it's going through the motion. You can see the little arrow at the bottom left of over control turning. So there it is. So that's approximately 90 degrees. As you can see here in the back, I've already solved the image. Gives us the estimate error. So we go just to next. Since I have right now just the part of the auto PA, so I'm gonna run a script the camera made. So the script is running right now, and this automatically will start solving the image in Sharpcap, and will start making the adjustments as well. So you can see it's moving or making the necessary corrections on its own. So now since I don't have the azimuth just yet, sorry, the altitude one just yet, so I have to do that one manually with the back screw. So it's telling us to go up. So you can see it's moving there. You have to be careful, take your time. This is one of the most important steps, getting the polar alignment correctly. The best polar alignment that you can get, the better results that you will get with tracking, guiding, and everything else. So definitely take your time here. Doesn't take too long. So we're almost there. As you can see, it's still correcting on its own, the azimuth. So we're almost there. Just a tiny little bit with the back screw. Almost there. Just a tad more. All right, that looks pretty good to me. I'll say this is as good as it's gonna get. All right, and that is basically it, right, for polar alignment. It's pretty simple, super quick. So that you just close Sharpcap. The script automatically closed because you already determined that it had the correct polar alignment. So next thing will be, this is important as well, since I already rotated the mount 90 degrees, I need to sync that position right now so I can start from there. So what this will allow me to do is um, I can start from here instead of returning the mount to home and then rotating to where I want it to go. I can just go from here. So then what I do is, we can do this two ways actually. I should do this with APT. So I'm gonna open the lens. I haven't connected my camera. Alright, so I had to pause there for a moment. I forgot the cable to connect the camera. So let's go back to APT. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so let's go to connect. Perfect. You can see here the camera is connected, and all the other details of the camera. So one of the things I will suggest here is change the exposure time. Now that I have a filter installed, I usually go with 12 seconds. Since we're just taking the exposures for plate solving, it doesn't really matter the ISO. So I goes for 3200. The quality, go with this one. We don't definitely need raw, save space and faster transfers as well. This is only for plate solving. Another quick point here, where the images will be saved by default, it's only to the camera. So I save them in both locations. Um, so then we go to the next tab, just the gear tab, and here we will connect the telescope. So you can see it's already detecting the RA and declination coordinates. Here's where you will connect your focuser. I have the focuser, but unfortunately having an issue with the motor, so it's not working at this time, but you can see it's connected already there. Important here, we go to tools. We have to enter the specifications of our telescope or lens that you're using, so in a way it can place solve properly. Um, you enter the focal length and the diameter of the lens. That's it. Everything else, it will be calculated automatically by APT once it detects the camera. Um, if you have not set this, you also will need to go to location. What I do is I use this setting so it will sync from the mount, so they will populate here automatically. Um, so now we go here to point craft. This is where the magic happens. So go to point craft. If this is the first time that you're ever using it, so you will need to configure it first. So for that, go to settings, and you will need ASTAP, which is the one used for plate solving. So I only use these two. All sky plate solver. I use it for blind solving, and this one is for regular plate solving. I don't know what will be the correct name. If you don't have those apps, you will need to download them here. We'll take you to the website where you can get them. Um, Once that is done and you install it, I will recommend to close APT, open it, and it will detect automatically where they are installed. If it doesn't find them, then you will need to navigate here with this little button. We'll open this and then you need to navigate on your computer to find it. Where's the executable file for that specific program. Here in the settings as well, by default is 180 seconds. I change it to 15 seconds. So you don't have to wait up to 3 minutes to solve an image. 15 seconds should be plenty. How many attempts to get the positioning or the plate solving right within a certain degree of error. So five attempts to me is perfectly acceptable. Uh, as well here with the number of moves, how many times it will try to slew until it gets it right. Um, Here you can set some specific settings. When it's plate solving, what will be the default exposure time? This will be independent from this one. So I set it here for 20 seconds. If you have a filter wheel, you typically hear the luminance filter. Um, let's see any other settings here. Oh yeah, the ISO. In my case, I'm using the Canon 3200 as well, so it's plenty of light and enough to capture enough detail to know or be able to solve the image. Okay, so once that is done, you click on OK. All right, we're back. Sorry for the trouble there. It looks like I lost connection to the remote computer. Anyway, so we click on OK. So what I will do first is focus on the star to know that I got the focus of the lens right. So we'll go to the brightest star that I can find. What I usually do is go here, select the tab that says stars, search for it. So I go to Vega, OK. It will enter the coordinates here. And then if I press go to plus plus, it will rotate the mount on its own and then plate. So as you can see here, the coordinates are changing. That means that is rotating and finding the target. So once it gets there, it's going to settle for a few seconds. So there won't be any blurry stars or anything like that. And then it will take the first exposure. Um, Everything here is automatically, so you don't have to do absolutely anything. This is the beauty of APT and any other similar software when you do placeholding. You don't have to do anything. You can just watch it. At this point, you can go back home inside, and just relax. It will do it on its own. So this is interesting, and this on purpose, so you guys can see what happens here. So right now is you can see that the stars are out of focus, right? So what's going to happen is it's going to time out, or should give me an error at least that it wasn't able to solve. Um, but it's retrying, so let's wait for the countdown to go down. So it's taking a second exposure. I'm going to stop it at this point because I already know it won't be able to find it. All right. So in this stage is where you will need to focus your lens. So one of the things that you can do is you can go to live view, see if you can see anything. Unfortunately, nothing. The filter cuts out a lot of light, so it's almost pitch black, if not pitch black. Since I'm using a telescope, I have markings on the barrel, so I know or have at least an idea when it's in focus and when it's not. So right now, I'm just gonna adjust that manually. I'm gonna take another exposure. So this is another use of placeholding, right? You can move the target manually with auto control. You can enter the coordinates that you want, or if, let's say, if you're using Stellarium or any other software, you can slew to a target. Once it's there, you can use, for example, APT to solve the image. So in that way, you know that you're in the correct coordinates. So we're gonna try right now. So this is a different one, kind of placeholding. So you will need to enter the position of the telescope, and you will click on solve. So you can see the stars is still fuzzy here. Let's see if it's able to find um, where it is. So you can see it fell. So I need to do another adjustment. Should be somewhere around there. Take one more shot. You can see as well here on the left, it's telling you how long that's going to go for. That takes into consideration how long it's going to take to download the picture to the computer. Um, there we go. Okay, the stars looks definitely much smaller. So we're going to try to solve the image once again. There we go. That is what you want to see. So it was able to sync the coordinates. So if we go back here to the gear tab, you can see that there is definitely a difference. Right. So what you will do is click on sync. So now the telescope has those coordinates that we got from the placeholding. So then we will go back here to the go to plus plus tab and tell it to go to the location that we wanted to, which was Vega. You don't have to be in perfect focus. As you can see, it's definitely the star is still not in focus, um, but it's able to solve the image. Once we have a super bright star, I'm going to use the Vatino masks to be able to get perfect focus. So it's going there. In this instance, since it's using the go to plus plus settings, that's why it takes a longer exposure. Remember, we enter 20 seconds, um, so that's why it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so now it's solving. So you can see we're pretty close right now to the target. Very, very close. You can see now it's moving, making the correction. It was saying slewing. Um, Now it's getting ready to take the second exposure. Right, you can see as well here um, how many attempts. and how many pixels is away from the target. So usually it takes maybe 2 or 3 times. You can also calibrate the steps of your motors for deck and RA. And if those are perfectly calibrated, usually when you go to plus plus, it almost puts it right in the target. Right? I haven't taken the time to do that, but this works pretty well. All right, so that's it. So you can see a success here on the top right. So right now we'll try to focus and get back after that. Okay, so we're back here. So this is the live view right now. Um, I'm using that star, like I said, because I'm using a filter, so that's why it looks different. And it's very dim, but it's bright enough that I can get this in focus. So this is where the focuser will come to play. It's just wonderful to see it do its thing without you being here. So I'm manually adjusting right now. It's a little tricky here to see if I'm in focus or not. So it looks like it might be close enough there. So what you need to do, this is important, APT is finicky in this sense. You need to stop the live view and then take another shot. If you're in live view and then go to press shoot, um, it gets stuck there. I don't know, for some reason. And what I always do, I have to disconnect the camera and reconnect it because for some reason it goes to 30 seconds or something for an exposure, which is way too long, especially when you have limited time. You want to take advantage of everything, right? So that looks pretty good. We zoom in by double clicking. That that actually looks very, very good. It's maybe just a tad more. So I'm gonna play around with that and get back to you. All right, moving on. So this is the last picture I took. Honestly, um, focusing on this star looks pretty good to me. So that's probably as good as I'm gonna get. So I remove the mask. All right, and the very last step is just to slew to the target that we want. So we do placeholding it. So you can do go to objects here, um, go to deep sky. Um, by default, these two here are on check. So once you check them, it will take a little while to load this list, but you have a huge list of options. And you can also make your own. As you can see, I have a few here on my own. So either way, you can either search for it here or go to a custom one. The process is the same. I'm gonna use this custom one. So you can just click on it, click on OK. That will enter the coordinates here, and you go to plus plus. Oh, sometimes you will get this message if you haven't synced the last position of the telescope or what you have. So you will click on yes. Just be careful though, because sometimes, especially after I do polar alignment, um, if I go back here, remember after I did the polar alignment, I press this button here, sync. So it will sync the current coordinates of the mount uh, to the uh, I guess to the board or to the software. Um, so in a way it knows that it starts from there. However, if I don't do that, it will still use this one, the one that says target. So we'll be off by a few hours and that will screw things over. So this is an important step. Um, and if you do placeholding from the beginning, um, so it may not have the correct coordinates. Um, so I've seen that happen before. So just be aware of that. So here I click yes, and now it's slewing. In the meantime, I'm gonna show you guys another thing here. So I have this software. cartes du ciel, I guess, in French. Excuse my French. So here, where I will connect to the mount. Right, so in this case, since I already have everything configured, I just click and connect here. But if not, you go to configure. Um, that should open a new window. Well, here it is, in which I will enter the COM port that I'm using. And then I will click on connect. So here we go. So what this will do is, if I press this button here, you can see, you saw there that it was moving. So what it's doing is sync with the position of the mount. So in that way you know what is it that you're looking at, right? Um, so I honestly like this as well because I can select the target from here, right? Anything that I want, I can just pick it from here. Um, Instead of searching in APT for that specific target, right? So many times here I've been just browsing, quote unquote, browsing, see what it is out there. And then what you do is right click it, select the target, and then go to telescope, and then use Loo to target. That's it. And it will send a command to the telescope, and it will move on its own to the mount, I should say. And it will move on its own. Something if you're using this software, something to be aware of. Let's say I'm trying to scroll here, and it's not going anywhere. So what you need to do is you need to disable this, because if it's enabled, it will always stay on target, which is in this case the telescope, right, or the mount where it's pointing at. So that's important. If I click it again, it will send me back to where it is. So let's see. Apparently we're already there. As you can see at the background, um, APT says that I'm already there. You can close this window now, this point craft. Um, you can see here as well in the log at the bottom. This was successfully centered. Okay, it definitely looks like it. So we're gonna go here, fit, and there you go. There it is. It took just a matter of seconds. So plate solving honestly is a lifesaver. It takes away a lot of the guessing. You know, where is it that I'm pointing at right now, right? And taking all these exposure shots and okay, then move it a little bit, take another picture, move it a little bit, take another picture, and so on and so on. Yeah, it's super easy, right? So we'll start my session now. So hopefully you guys find this very useful. And if anything, you can visit the Discord chat. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time. Enjoy clear skies as well.